Hi, so I'm Luke, and here is my video on Ken McElroy's death and the events leading up to it. So here we go. Okay, so from an early age, Ken McElroy, he didn't really have much parental supervision because he had 16 siblings, so he really had to learn to do stuff by himself. He taught himself how to hunt, he had to drive fast, and how to navigate the back roads of Nottoway County by himself. And he used those skills to rustle hogs and cattle, which is just stealing. Police had charged him with various crimes, but he was never put away due to his lawyer, Richard Gene McFadden. He was a really skilled defense attorney, and his specialty was he would just run rings around inexperienced prosecutors, and it made it almost impossible for Ken to even have a chance of getting put in jail. So he really didn't have to worry about any of that, which enabled him to further just do these things with no fear. So the people of Skidmore were not the only ones to experience McElroy's terror. There was one instance where a police officer, his name is Boyer, he had been on patrol when he pulled over a speeding pickup truck, and when he stepped up to the window, it was Ken McElroy. So, knowing his history, he had drawn his service weapon, and just out of fear, he was just terrified of this guy. He later said his eyes really just put you in defense mode. He really looked like a bad dude. A bad person. Sorry, okay. And later that evening, a similar pickup truck had pulled up to his house and just parked right in front of his house. And his house was in the middle of nowhere, like really rural. And Boyer had seen the truck and just waited behind a tree with a shotgun. Because he didn't even know if it was Ken, but he was just so scared that it could have been Ken that he was already in defense mode just from that. So this really showed just how much influence and fear this guy had over even government workers. These are police, they're supposed to be protecting people, and they're scared of this guy. So it really showed how bad he was. McElroy was also not just trying to scare people. He literally was trying to kill people, or at least he didn't care if he did. So there was one instance where his daughter was trying to buy candy, or at least that's what was apparently happening, but there was a misunderstanding that maybe she stole it or something. And when Ken found out, he had literally just came up to the store owner, which is his name's Bo, and just shot him in the neck. So when the police got a call, he had just driven off to the back roads because that's where he knew the best. So the police had positioned themselves where they could catch him on the back road, and he just was trapped right there. So they actually got him in cuffs that time. So eventually the people of Skidmore just had enough. They were just sick of this dude. They wanted him out because they had been dealing with this dude for decades and decades and decades, and the police were not going to do anything. They could not do anything. So one day they decided to have a meeting, a town meeting in Legion Hall to figure out what to do. And when Ken found out, he had started driving over, but word had gotten out to the people during the meeting that Ken was coming over. So two men had positioned themselves on top of a nearby building, and when Ken pulled up, they just shot him and he died instantly. Police showed up soon after and were questioning people, but nobody would give them an answer because honestly they showed up at the wrong time. They had failed to do their job, and it was really sad that once they had been forced to deal with them themselves, which is literally the police's job, then they wanted to do stuff. So no answer was given, and even to this day, it's still a secret to who really shot Ken. Okay, so now that you know the story, here's my opinion, honest opinion. So Honestly, like, this guy, I think they were right to kill him. This guy was not good at all. He was given the chance in life to just not do this, and he didn't take it. If you have someone from like early age who's just stealing, like beating people, doing all this crazy stuff, like there's really no saving them at that point. And he had just, it's hard. It's really hard to take like the power from someone. Like he, in his eyes, that was all the power he had. But it's really hard to take the power, like that power, from someone who is like that, like when that's all they have. That's really all he had in life. Just robbing and killing people, beating people up, maybe trying to kill people. And you know, like the police weren't gonna do anything. So like that's really all they could have done. Thank you for watching. I will be posting this on Spotify and YouTube, so I'll leave everything in the description. So follow my Spotify too.